We're back on Infinite Insights with another video, and I told myself I was gonna start posting every week. I don't know if it's been a week. It's probably been over a week. I've been losing track of time. It's winter break right now, so like I really don't have any idea of what time is looking like right now. But this is the first video so far where I'm doing it all by myself. I used to do this like a long time ago, but now like I feel really awkward making videos just like by myself. Today's January 10th. We're 10 days into 2025. Doesn't even feel like it. And I'm not even gonna start with my New Year's resolution because I was done with New Year's resolutions a long time ago. Like, if you did make a New Year's resolution, then good for you, because honestly I grew out of that a long time ago. Because most of the time, most of you guys that are starting New Year's resolutions, you guys say, oh my god, it's gonna be a new year and I'm gonna do like X, Y, and Z. But if you really wanted to do that thing, you would have started at least a couple weeks or even like in the fall of the year before, so then you could already go into the new year with the habit that you already had but you didn't. You kept pushing it off to a new year and you were just like, yeah, I'm gonna have a fresh start, I'm gonna have a new year. No, you're not. You probably didn't even do, if you said you were gonna work out every day on New Year's or do that or do this or do that or be productive, you probably didn't even do it because you were probably out partying on December 31st up to January 1st. You probably slept in the whole January 1st, and now you already messed up your New Year's resolution. But don't worry, if you want to break a pattern, if you want to start a new habit, if you want to have a new idea, you can start at any time. So I just wanted to share this kind of advice that I'm giving myself, you know what I'm saying? I just want to keep it real, you know. I wanted to start with this analogy. So when you have a pool full of water, like a body of water or whatever, just imagine, and you have a really heavy item, right? That heavy item sinks to the bottom. It's unable to float. Versus when you have a lighter object, that object is able to float. It's very light, right? Okay. I want to compare this to the human mind, right? When the human mind is overstimulated and it's constantly thinking about a lot and it's constantly overworking, it sinks to the bottom. Just like in water, the heavier the thing is, you sink to the bottom. When you have a lot of things going on in your mind, you get frustrated, you feel drained, you feel tired. Versus when your mind is kind of more easygoing, when your thoughts are kind of more, you know, they get along well, you know, you feel light in the head, you know, not light in the head isn't sick, but you feel light-minded, you know, you float, or you have an easier time. You don't feel as drained and you don't feel like things take as much energy. You don't use up as much energy to swim to the top of the pool, you know what I'm saying? Because you're already light, you're already naturally floating, you're already letting the water take you away. You're going with the flow. You're not going against the water, you're going with the water, and you're with the water. And the water I'm talking about is life. The lighter your mind is, meaning that the easier your thoughts flow and the less overstimulated you are, the more happier you're probably going to be, and it'll probably be easier to get things done as well because you're not super overwhelmed and like things of that sort, right? Right. Okay, cool. So I want to compare this to social media consumption. Another video about social media and how it's bad for me and how social media is toxic, this is then the third. I'm not trying to make this one of those videos, okay? I know you have probably seen so many things while you're scrolling on social media about all the way social media is toxic for you and X, Y, and Z. I'm not gonna make those one of these videos. But what I do want you guys to be aware of, and something I'm trying to be aware of myself, is that people, because of technology and social media, people consume so much more information than they would have 50 years ago, you know? And our brains were not meant to take in that much information at once. We take in more information in 10 minutes when we're scrolling in our phone than when a person 50 years ago would take in an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, whatever the case may be. We are taking in so much information. I say that just to say that anytime you feel drained, anytime you feel like, you know, you mentally just can't get somewhere, I literally feel like that is because our brains are literally tired. So today's lesson is going to be to create more than you consume. Now, I know you've probably heard this statement too, but I want to be realistic. Nobody's taking really long social media breaks. If you have the discipline to do that, then cool. But me personally, I'm an only child. I need to stay connected with people. Social media is my way of staying connected with people. And I've honestly never really been able to just like straight up delete Instagram. I've been able to like say like, hey, I'm not gonna go on my phone while I'm doing this. But I've never been able to like truly deactivate my account or like get rid of my phone or like stuff like that. And let's be real, we've all been using technology for like damn near our whole lives. So at the end of the day, like, not everybody has the discipline to just say like, oh yeah, I'm not going to be on social media anymore. So like, we have to be real. And unfortunately, with the circumstances the way they are, if you are able to take a break and separate yourself from technology, and that's what you want to do, and you're able to do it, and you have the mental discipline to do that, then cool. But there's a lot of people that are unable to do that. And there's a lot of people where social media is their main form of staying in touch with people, communication. And there's a lot of people where the social media addiction is just like, it's taking over the world right now. Like, a lot of us cannot get out of it. So instead of criticizing you and telling you to not be on your phone, I'm going to tell you some things that I kind of want to implement into my year, so that the things that I'm consuming cannot make me feel as heavy, and so that my mind can feel lighter, and that it's not feeling overwhelmed with so much negativity and so many things that I think I need and I think I want to do and I think I need to do that and all that stuff. I'm just going to share with you how I think we can make our experience with media consumption a more lighter, enjoyable, and not such a stressful experience, I guess, if you want to say that. Now, in my opinion, more than half of your social media consumption should be something that's benefiting you. If you're going to spend 70% of your day or 14 hours on your phone, then at least half of that should be something that's benefiting you. The problem nowadays is that people have 14 hours of screen time, but it's all gossip, drama, this, that, just purely things that we perceive as entertaining, but really it's rotting our brains. The brain rot is real, and you know this. Now, I'm not gonna say, oh my gosh, you know, all social media is negative and and you shouldn't be watching gossip. I love watching my T pages, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't entertain that stuff too much, but come on now, if you're a regular person like me, you're not giving up your entertaining side of social media. But what I'm saying is, if that is the only thing that you are watching while you're on social media, you're gonna have a big problem. At least more than half of what you should be watching should be something that's benefiting you. Whether you have a craft, it should be videos about learning more about your craft. You can listen to podcasts with different people that are like coaches, life coaches, into manifestation, into religion, like whatever you're into, you can listen to that. You can just listen to people who are resetting their life, people who are speaking self-confidence. You can spend time listening to affirmations, listening to different podcasts that are actually about bettering your life. It's important that when we consume, we hear more positive things, that more positive things are being programmed into our subconscious mind rather than negative things, because at the end of the day, our brain is going to amplify the negative things we hear 3 times more than the positive. So we should be listening to more positive things than we do negative at the end of the day. One thing that I want to start doing for myself is I don't want to be doing 2 electronics at a time. For example, sometimes I'll be playing Sims on my computer, and then boom, I go to scrolling on TikTok simultaneously while I'm playing Sims on my computer. That doesn't need to happen. If I have my computer in front of me and I'm doing work or whatever the case may be, I do not need to be watching TV at the same time. Practice using technology one at a time. If I'm watching something on my computer or my laptop and I'm sitting at my dorm, I don't need to be on my phone. And I feel like that's something that so many people do unconsciously. Like, we are at the point in life where we cannot, even though we have the fastest thing, we have access to everything at our fingertips, we have some of the fastest technology we've ever had ever in life, some people can still not only use one thing at one time. Like, we have such a bad habit at doing this. If I'm using my computer, my phone should be away. If I'm using my phone, I should not be on my computer. That is one way we can stop our brains from being so overstimulated, because we're already overstimulated as it is. We are greedy people. We already have access to anything we want. We have access to movies, drama, people, YouTube, information. And now that we already have access to everything, we want to be doing this and doing something else at the same time when we already have access. We are ungrateful creatures. Why are we like this? We don't need to be doing that. So my point being is that another thing we can do is just focus on using one source of media at once. When you're on one device, don't use the other device. When you're on this device, don't use the other device. On top of that, I think we should also minimize consumption of other people our age. Now let me explain. Seeing what other children our age are doing is a great thing, you know what I'm saying? But I feel like always watching what our peers are doing and people that we perceive to be on the same level as us in life can be very, very toxic. For one, if you're always watching someone's Instagram story and they're always out partying and drinking and this, that, and the third, you know, if you're on a late night scroll session on Instagram, okay, cool, like you see it, oh, they were outside, like da 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 da, like yeah, like come on, we all do that, come on, like let's be real. But at the end of the day, if you are scrolling during the day and that's what's popping up on your social media very, very often, seeing that is not going to help doing what you want to do. You might be the type of person, oh, I want to get this project done. But then you see all these kids out partying, doing what they want to do. Unconsciously and subconsciously, you're going to be influenced. You're going to eventually start thinking to yourself as you're working on your project, like, man, I've been working on this for a long time, but everybody else my age is out partying. Like, you know, I'm gonna work my whole life, you know what I'm saying? So why don't I just go out and party? Because, like, you know, you're young. You know, I should be out doing this because I'm young. That in itself, because you overconsumed watching what other people your age were doing, that just threw you off on what you truly wanted to do. At the end of the day, you were always doing what you truly wanted to do. Going out and partying was never what you truly wanted to do. But because you've been seeing that all the time, it almost convinced you as if what you were doing was wrong. But working on this project was something that you put so much time into. If working on the project really wasn't important to you, you would have never done it anyway. But that just flipped the switch in your brain. It made you believe otherwise. Another example of comparison with our peers or people that are close to our age is when you scroll on TikTok and you see these 19-year-olds, oh my God, I'm on a vacation, like I'm making money, like brand ambassador, da 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 da. We already know how that gets toxic. You think because you are the same age as them, why do I not have this same aspiration in life? Why do I not have these things? Like, you know, like, yeah, I'm stuck working this little part-time job. Like, yeah, I'm going to college, like, you know, and I still got to pay back my debt and like da 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 da. And they're out traveling. I have two ways to respond to stuff like this. For one, as I always say, social media is only a snippet of what's being shown. Some kids are rich at the age of 18, 19, but a lot of these children are just using their parents' money in order to go on vacations and all this other stuff. So you shouldn't compare your individual progress to their progress because you don't know who's giving them money. If you're doing it all on your own, then that's very unrealistic. For two, this might also be a result of consuming more than you create. For example, if you weren't so busy watching, I don't know who's famous. I don't know, somebody. Charli D'Amelio. What does she do? I don't know what she does anymore. If you weren't so busy watching Charli D'Amelio on Instagram, going on her little vacations, living in her mansion and all that other stuff, then maybe you would have had time to go work on something yourself. Maybe if you weren't so busy watching TikTok about gossip and stuff like that, comparing your life to all these celebrities that you don't even like, maybe you would have had time to maybe, I don't know, create content of your own. I don't know, maybe go work some more hours at a job, maybe go figure out what you like or something like that. Your brain would have been lighter. When you're constantly receiving all this information all at once and seeing what everybody else is doing all the time, 24/7, you stop thinking your own thoughts. What is the last thought that came in your brain that was actually your own thought? Think about that. What is the last thought that came up in your own brain that was actually your own thought? That was like, hey, I want to do this. That wasn't by the influence of, oh, I saw someone else do this. Oh, that wasn't by the influence of like, oh, I should be doing this. That wasn't by the influence of, oh, I'm overthinking about what I saw on social media. When was the last thought that you had that was just a thought of yours? If we as humans lived in a life where we only had our own thoughts coming to our brains, do you know how peaceful that would be? We would actually have clarity and we would actually be able to get things done. You know, humans naturally experience emotions. Not every thought that we create is going to be a positive thought. You know, there's always going to be a couple negative ones. We're always going to have anxiety. But we already, as humans, have our natural thoughts and anxiety. But with the added consumption that we consume on a daily basis, we have an increase. We have our already naturally invasive thoughts combined with our thoughts that are created by our observation of other people and other things going on in the world. But just imagine how peaceful life would be and how light we would feel if we would just think our own thoughts. That is what I want you guys to work on. That is what I want you guys to see. That is what I'm trying to work on. This year, I want to be able to easily distinguish what is a thought of mine and what is a thought influenced by another person. Is this thought what I want, or is this thought a result of my subconscious mind obtaining all this information? When you get to the point where you can distinguish, hey, this is a thought that I came up with, or this is a thought that was created by, outside factors, you will be at peace. And I know when I say it like this, it sounds easy. You should be able to say, well, yeah, like that's how I feel about this. That's how I feel about that. But is that really how you feel about that? Is that really how you feel? Is it? Let's say, for example, I'm in a relationship. You're going good. The relationship is good. But then you see all this stuff on social media about being, oh my God, young and turned. Oh my God, relationships don't work. Oh my God, my boyfriend just cheated on me. Oh my gosh, De'Ara suing Ken for a lawsuit and got his money all stolen. Yeah, no. But then you go back to your relationship and you're like, oh my God, I have doubts. Did you have doubts? Are those doubts naturally your own doubts? Or were those created by overtime consumption? I just feel like you have to be able to identify that, because once you get to a point where you are able to disassociate from thoughts that are just products of your observations and your experiences, yes, some of those observations can be good. I'm not saying that all consumption is negative, because like I said, there's good things you can consume online. I'm just saying, as far as all the negative consumption, which most of it is negative consumption, does that make you get confused with what you really want? Or are you still able to properly identify what you really want? And I think that's why, like, for me, meditation is important, because I'm not going to be the person to say, oh, take a break from your phone, because I'll be honest, that is really, really a hard thing to do if you don't have discipline. But I'm just saying that every once in a while, you just need to meditate and see what are the thoughts that come to your head. I want a dog, or you get the thought, I want a dog. Ask yourself, what makes me want this dog? Why do I want this dog? What would this dog do for me? Just asking yourself simple questions like that will help you understand whether these are your thoughts or whether these thoughts are created by things outside of you. If our brains are lighter and we're able to identify what is our thoughts and what are not our thoughts, do you know how easy it would be to just let life do what it needs to do? You know how easy it would be to just let life flow? But no, like, our brains are so heavy, and sometimes on those days where you just feel tired and you feel drowsy and you didn't even do anything today, you didn't even go to school today, you didn't even go to work today, you just wake up and you feel drowsy. Some people call that lazy, but I don't even think that's laziness. I just think that's simply the fact that our brains are tired. Our body is feeling a physical reaction from the overworking of our brains. We have not had technology around long enough to the point where our brains have completely evolved to all the stimulation that it gets. And you know why? Because every year we come out with a new product or a new app or a new update that constantly adds even more stimulation than what our brain previously adjusted to. There could be a mixture of reasons of why you're tired. Maybe, I don't know, you need some vitamins. I don't know. But me personally, I think that those days where you feel tired, I think your brain is tired. You have to be, like I said, you have to be light to let things flow. You have to release things from your energy. You have to know what truly belongs to you and what doesn't. I'm not going to tell you how to live your life, but I'm just saying that this year, I think everybody needs to focus on what truly belongs to them, what thoughts belong to them, what is a product of what we've seen. I just think going into this year, I feel like for me, that would be a great thing to remember, to identify. Is this thought mine? Is this emotion mine? It's not mine. So why am I letting it control my life, and why am I letting it linger on my mind like it belongs to me? If I'm holding on to something at the bottom of the pool that's heavy and I don't release it, I'm not going to be able to float to the top, and I'm going to not be able to breathe. I have to be able to let that go, let everything else go. Is this my thought? This is not my thought, so I'm going to let it go and I'm going to float to the top. That's all, guys. That's all. I hope you understood that, and I hope that wasn't just an unhelpful yap session. So, bye guys.